Cisco SD WAN has many components that interoperate. We're going to focus in this section understanding what the elements and components of Cisco SD WAN are, what their purpose is, and how they function. Now we're going to be looking at this and breaking it down into 4 different levels. We have an orchestration plane. We'll be looking at the components there first. Then we have our management plane. We're actually controlling and configuring. We have our control plane, which is going to be for sharing and controlling route information, other types of information. And then finally, at the bottom here, we have our data plane. And we're going to look at each of these components and understand what they're about. The vBond orchestrator is kind of the initial place where we make contact or first setting up and connecting to the SD-WAN cloud. vBond orchestrator automatically coordinates the initial bring up of vSmart controllers and vEdge routers. It facilitates connections between vSmart controllers and vEdge routers. Basically what happens is when a vEdge router first comes up, the initial device it talks to is vBond. During this bring up process, the vBond goes through, it authenticates, validates the devices that want to join this overlay network. This automatic orchestration prevents, having to do this manually, which can be, tiresome and obviously can go ahead and bring a lot of errors into this environment. When we take a look at this vBond orchestrator must have a public IP address so that when a device out there on the internet first boots up, it needs to be able to communicate. This is the only device that's required to have a public IP address. When later on, when the devices like a vSmart or a vEdge, if they're loaded behind NAT devices, so if they're doing NAT, well, the vBond orchestrator helps solve any NAT traversal issues that may occur. Now, when we think about what the vBond orchestrator is doing, it's doing a few different things. One, it's helping with this kind of control plane connection. It's going to go ahead, each vBond orchestrator is going to go through and set up a connection to each vSmart controller. So every vBond's talking to the vSmarts. And then additionally, when a vEdge first comes online, they authenticate and helps the router join the network. Basically, the vBond is going to tell the edge device, hey, here's your vManage and here's your orchestrator. We had mentioned NAT traversal, and like I said, it orchestrates NAT traversal between these guys. All right. And basically, this is standard peer-to-peer techniques that are used in everything from video games to voice communications. And then finally, in a large environment where there's multiple vSmart controllers, vBond actually goes through and actually performs some load balancing